I think infrastructure is a very important issue at the moment, and transportation infrastructure is a fundamental issue facing developed, new, old economies, both in terms of trying to upgrade or renew or develop new infrastructure, which ultimately underpins the success of an economy. I think partly because we represent the interests of institutional investors who are seeking opportunities to match their liabilities with potential assets. And under certain circumstances, infrastructure as an investment class is an ideal investment opportunity through which to match their liabilities. I think it's a fair challenge, and I think to some extent private sector investment in public sector procurement is always a big political issue. And I think trying to get it right, trying to get the right alignment of interests, the right balance between risk and reward is a continuing challenge. That in many situations we're seeing benefits being shared, and the public sector and governments finding that actually the inclusion of private sector capital is, if anything, a more efficient way to procure. So there are detractors, but I think there is a growing interest around the world of the inclusion of the private sector capital to help develop infrastructure. I think a sense that we're in a new era where if we do not invest in transportation infrastructure, then that would have severe economic impact on the world. On the other hand, we have the constraints around austerity and budgetary deficits, which seem to sort of act against the willingness of governments to make long-term decisions, which effectively mean that they have to commit large sums of capital now, and therefore are heavily reliant on the private sector for that capital. And I think what's come out today, I think, is that we are at a juncture, we're at a crossroads. And so a conference like this, I think, is hugely important to bring, I don't know how many countries are represented, 70, 80 countries here today, to share those experiences, and partly because a lot of us are pioneers, and pioneers often have a mixed reception. You know, some fail, some succeed. It's important that we can learn from the failures and learn from the good features too and take those forward. Obviously leave the mistakes behind. And actually this environment is ideal for that.